Greetings, I am Mark Golding, President of the People's National Party and Leader of the Opposition in Jamaica's Parliament. I want to welcome you to Meeting the Mark podcast. This is the first of my monthly podcasts where I'll talk about what we've been up to in the party and in Parliament, and I'll share some thoughts on the most important issues that are facing our country. I cannot believe that April makes 5 months since I became President of the People's National Party. The work started immediately. My biggest focus has been trying to heal our 82-year-old movement and build unity amongst all our comrades. I've also been very concerned about our party stalwarts, and that is why I launched the OT Fairclough Fund, which is really designed to ensure that persons who have served the party long and have real problems in their life get some help that they desperately need. It hasn't been an easy task, and we have much work to do. But I'm not daunted by the challenge. In fact, I'm inspired more and more every day as the machinery of the party revs to life and we coalesce around the goal of being and doing the best for the Jamaican people. I've also been keen to involve youths and young professionals more in our party. They have so much to contribute to our noble movement. They are the future, and we need to really interact and relate to them so that they see the People's National Party as an organization of choice. I plan on expanding the spaces where their voices can be heard and their ideas can be acted upon, because I'm sure that we'll be a better movement for it. Despite COVID and the restriction on our movements, we were very busy in April, and I'm going to share with you some of the things that we did. We established a newsletter. It's called Meeting the Mark. It's more than a podcast. Head to www.markgoldingja.com and subscribe or reach out to Party HQ to get on our mailing list if you aren't on it already. Your party is working, and we are truly powerful together. The newsletter and this podcast is a way of growing the ways we stay in touch and making sure that everyone is in the know. Let me tell you a little bit about what's been happening in my constituency. Protecting and providing for the most vulnerable in our society is one of our core missions and a personal passion. I had the opportunity to distribute care packages in my constituency to people with disabilities and to the elderly. More than ever before, it is important that we look out for each other and do what we can to help each other. I met with 17-year-old Daru Burton and his mother Tanisha. Daru has 7 CXE subjects and he's not even in grade 11 yet. Hailing from Buckers in Wilton Gardens, Rima, in my constituency, Daru is a driven, gifted and intelligent young man. I was able to help his household out with some groceries as well as provide a tablet to aid in his studies. The environment and climate change are the existential threats of our age. As the world barrels towards a point of no return with regard to climate change, island nations like ours can no longer ignore it. We can no longer depend on larger nations to speak for us and to speak to the best interests of the world as a whole. Caribbean nations like Jamaica have to get more involved in the global conversation. And locally, we must play our part in protecting and rehabilitating and renewing our environment. Myself and some of our comrades, led by the Shadow Minister on Land, Environment and Climate Change, Senator Sophia Fraser-Binns, celebrated Earth Day by planting trees at the PNP headquarters. It's a small gesture, but it's the first of many as we start to pay more attention to our responsibilities to the natural environment. I also reminded persons that it's sea turtle egg-laying season, and it's important that we don't trouble the turtles as they nest and lay their eggs. It's against the law as well, and you can be fined up to $100,000 or serve 12 months in jail. Welfare is critical for our comrades. One of the main pillars of my campaign for party leadership was to establish a way for us to support our comrades who have served the party over many years, so well, so hard, true warriors in the cause, but have fallen on hard times. We established the OT Fairclough Trust Fund in December and endowed it with $15 million so it could get going. We will be establishing a grants board with representatives from each of the regions and the women's movement so that persons who have needs all across Jamaica can apply in a transparent way, and they have their applications assessed, and if the resources allow, we will give them help. We also set up the Welfare Commission of the party. It's chaired by Comrade Richard Azan, and I'm proud to say that that commission had its first meeting in April, and help is already on the way to comrades who need it. In fact, 2 comrades from Region 3 and 1 from Region 4 received help in April. The Commission has also identified its next mission, which is sourcing and distributing tablets for the children of members of the party who need it most. In April, we lent a helping hand to Kingston Public Hospital, KPH. Our mission to serve the people of Jamaica is true whether or not we're in government. That's why I'm especially proud of General Secretary Dayton Campbell and Shadow Minister of Health and Wellness, Maurice Guy, 2 doctors who partnered with the Jamaica Guangdong Association to secure meals and personal protective equipment, PPEs, to the KPH. That hospital, the Kingston Public Hospital, is Jamaica's oldest and indeed largest, and one of the most important health facilities in the entire country. I'm glad that we're able to reach out and help the healthcare professionals and the patients there. Sadly, April also found us having to lay to rest 2 of the titans of our movement. Dr. Jephthah Ford truly cared for other people. He was a father, a friend, doctor, and leader, deeply devoted to the betterment, healing, and well-being of everyone around him. And he ran several occasions for the People's National Party. The PNP in Jamaica has lost an incredible son and servant to the people. We also said goodbye to Arthur Tunti Barrett. Tunti was the definition of dedication to his party. Hard-working leader, a true party man, a very successful businessman. His support was more from behind the scenes, but so many of us have benefited from what Tunti brought to the table over decades. He passed at 94 years old, and many of us can say without fear of contradiction that Tunti will never be forgotten. Rest in power, my comrades. You both made indelible marks on our party and our country. In Parliament, there were some historic achievements for the People's National Party. We tabled impeachment legislation. I tabled it as a private member's bill. Recent events had highlighted yet again that we really need to modernize our constitution and align it with modern principles of governance. It is a problem that there is no procedure for removing a parliamentarian whose conduct is egregious and unbecoming of the holder of that high office. That's why I dusted off and updated a 2011 bill that was legislation that came out of a bipartisan process of constitutional review in the 1990s and still hasn't been passed. And I brought it to Parliament so that where we have wrongdoers in Parliament who we need to remove, there can be impeachment proceedings against them and they can have accountability for their actions. The context in which that legislation was brought to Parliament was the viral video of a man beating a woman badly and all of the domestic and gender-based violence that has been plaguing the country in the last couple of months. Check out my YouTube channel and see what I had to say about this. And you'll also see what Senators Donna Scott Motley, Sophia Fraser-Binns, Peter Bunting, and Member of Parliament Dr. Angela Brown-Burke had to say about it as well. We also had some excellent presentations in the sectoral debate. Power to the People was the focus of Philip Paulwell, our party chairman and opposition spokesman on mining and energy, in his contribution to the sectoral debate. He was charging the current administration to come up with ways that they can lower electricity costs for the people. He called out some bold ideas himself, and strategic investments is what he's seeking to drive innovation and cost benefits in the energy sector. Our spokesperson for Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Comrade Lisa Hanna, also spoke in the sectoral debate. Hers was a very forward-thinking and interesting presentation. She identified industries of the future and ways that Jamaica can achieve greater competitiveness so that we can build wealth for all our people. Well done, Lisa. Well done, Philip. want to say a little bit about pepper spray. Crime remains out of control. The government has no strategy to deal with it. More and more Jamaicans are being murdered and subjected to all kinds of violence and are living in fear. Our women in particular need to be empowered so they can defend themselves effectively. This was really brought home to me when I visited Forepath Primary School after the murder of Natalie Dawkins, the teacher there, who had been abducted and cruelly killed. We are an opposition of action, and I have created 2 companion pieces of legislation dealing with the pepper spray issue, and I'll be bringing them to Parliament so the Parliament can debate them and hopefully pass them into law, and our women will have a new way of protecting themselves. So my comrades, that's it for our April wrap-up. It was a great month and May is already looking even better. Thanks for listening, and remember, if you're on social media, follow me at Mark J. Golding, and you can follow the People's National Party at Jamaica PNP on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. It's really the best way to get real-time updates and make sure you're always in the know. So, until next time, this is Mark Jefferson Golding saying walk good, my comrades, and stay safe.